Clubhouse. 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 Thank you. Clubhouse. Clubhouse. Thank you. Clubhouse. 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 Clubhouse.
Thank you.
I think perhaps I idolize the Taouk Association a little bit, and I'm the kind of person that would want to explore that, because it makes me curious why I think a certain way about something. Rather, I'm really interested in finding out where my beliefs come from. And I have this belief about the Taouk Association being this organization that brings our family together. It pulls everyone in to one sort of central point, one sort of point of celebration, hospitality. Something along the lines of that. I'm not too sure why. I don't know what it was in the past. I have this idea that it was the organization that, basically created all the best gatherings in the Taouk family history in Sydney. Does that make sense? It was the the organization that perhaps created or organized those wonderful gala dinners. I think that's what it was. Yep, gala dinners. You'd pay for a table and there'd be a singer. That was my nostalgic memory of the 90s, I think. And in the 90s, I remember looking through photos of family events in the 80s. Of gala dinners, where there'd be a photographer there to take your photo, and you'd get a printout of your photo of you on a table, with your partner or with a group of people, and and then you'd get that in a folder at the end of the night. It was literally like a party favor or a party gift. Why don't they do that anymore? I mean, Polaroids still exist, printers still exist, the technology is still there. In fact, it's easier with Bluetooth and Wi-Fi connections between digital cameras and printers. Why don't we do that again? That's awesome, isn't it? Man, and remember it'd have that faded vignette effect, right? Around the border. I'm quite a visual person. And for me, the good memories that I have of my family and the community are in those photos. Those photos that those photos in the folders that you open up. Yeah, with those beautiful faded vignettes. And I think about the events themselves, where they were held, but more importantly, the singers. And I know that we have events where there's really famous Lebanese singers that come to Sydney and perform, and it's great. But what I mean is a Taouk specific or Bcharre specific gala dinner with a famous Lebanese singer. That's just for our, lovely little feet, our lovely little toes. You know, that's it. Um, do we have those anymore? That's a genuine, honest question. And if not, why? Isn't that such a tragedy? Why are we depriving ourselves of the best part of our community? Is there a necessary reason as to why we don't have events like that? And what I mean by that is there actually something preventing it from happening? Do people not have enough money? Do those singers not exist? Do those halls not exist anymore? Does that food not exist anymore? Or is it just almost like a combination of almost like this hive mentality of just everyone agreeing that we just don't do that anymore for whatever reason? Because if that's the case, that's a shame, and we ought to change that, because those events were bloody awesome, right? I want to go to those events. I want to take my wife to those events to show off the best of my community, because we have the Taouk picnic, and that's awesome, but that makes me yearn for more. So I want those gala dinners as well. Bring back the gala dinners, I say. Andrew Taouk, Ibn Majid Saeed Taouk said that. That might have some weight to it, right? Um, yeah. My grandfather Saeed Assad, that counts for something, right? If the words aren't convincing enough, which would be odd, consider where they're coming from, right? His name's worth something, my grandfather, for his sake. Bring back the gala dinners, I say. And where are the poets, right? Why are we not venerating the poets? My Uncle Zou Zou, and let's say open hearts like him, oddballs like my Uncle Zou Zou, that appears odd because he's just very passionate. He'd love to get lyrical for Bcharre, for his community, for Lebanon, for the world, right? Put him on the stage and watch him shine. Have a gala dinner. Get him to host. Do you think he'd be up to it? If I really, really, really think about who my Uncle Zou Zou is and where he came from and where his passion is, yeah, he will be the best MC that you can think of for an event like that. It's made for him. He was a radio DJ, for God's sakes. He was a cinematographer. I'll link to the Assad's birthday video in 1991. Who was behind the camera? Mami Zou Zou, right? Behind the camera and behind the lights. Yeah, that really, really, really bright light that almost sort of whitewashes the damn video. That's him as well. Sometimes not the best. That was ages ago, But yeah, man, he loves that stuff. He's like me. If he could, he'd make a podcast as well. He'd make a podcast. But he was a broadcaster, for gosh sakes. Like, yeah, he was better than me. My lord. Okay. Let's think about what I'm doing. This is a lot like what my uncle was doing back in the 80s, I believe, actually broadcasting. So I'm taking his lead, right? Isn't that such a lovely thought? If you actually sort of think about it, what possessed Andrew to make a podcast? You know, my Uncle Zou Zou. That's a good start, right? That's a good starting point, right? To think about why I'm choosing this medium, you know? Yeah, but you know what I mean about poetry, right? Um, it's almost like folk singing. I don't know what it is, but I think it's a very sort of like culturally specific thing. That thing that we do where we just freestyle sing, right? Why don't we do that anymore? What, by the way, what is that? You know, these are questions that I sort of put to the community. What is that? Why do we do that? That's kind of cool, in my opinion. That there was a point where at parties, at gatherings, men would break out into song and rhyme and sing to each other like freestyle folk music, for gosh sakes. That's in our blood. This isn't odd what I'm doing. I'm taking your lead, you know? I'm gonna start singing these soon, right? That's more in that's more in line, with the Maronite community, the Lebanese Maronite community that I remember. Yeah, do you remember that? I mean, it feels like a distant memory, but I don't know if it is. And if it isn't, can I be invited to those parties? You know? I don't care if I have to ask. I'm not embarrassed, you know? Yeah, I want to go to those parties. And I want to, you know, vibe out with those lovely men. Call them lovely, beautiful temporary poets, you know? Like for that moment. Yeah, it's that thing that you do where you're literally you're feeding off each other. It's sort of like a rat a tat, right? Yeah. Um yeah, man, that's so lovely. Why did we lose that? And part of me thinks that when we lost that, we also sort of lost our self-confidence. Well, that happened at the same time. I don't know what compels me to say that, but I feel like that's true, you know? Um, but it's just my opinion. I mean, who the heck am I? Evan Majid. Uh, yeah, what else? Would people come to those events? Absolutely. I think they're dying to go to events like that. And I don't think that it's that hard to organize. I think that we have people in the family that can organize it on their own. But the way that I see it, there's several people that if they come together, yeah, there's no stopping. There's no limit to the potential of the kind of events that we can organize. And I really do think that the Taouk Association is only a small fraction of what we can do when we come together, you know? And I think a post COVID sort of community, sort of a community that's kind of dying for events like that. Um, I think that would be really good. And that's just what the old guard has to offer the fresh young blood. You know, these are things that motivate and inspire me and make me sort of think, we can bring that back and we can make it better. And there's other things that we can do as well. um, other events that just thinking about really sort of make me happy. Um, Hiring out a cinema, having a cinema night, right? A cinema party. Um, oh God, can you believe? Can you just think how many men and women there are around my age with kids that would just get so much benefit out of a an event like that, where it's just close family and friends within the community. Fill the cinema 100, 200, 300, depending on how much buzz there is for particular events and for particular movies. Um, Even now, thinking off the top of my head, Inside Out 2 is beautiful, amazing opportunity for a Bcharre slash Taouk Association cinema event for parents and their young kids, from the age of dot to 50, can get something out of Inside Out. And then there's the new Deadpool and Wolverine movie. And that is perfect for men, guys, the age of 15 up, right? And for events like that, and not even just events like that, we can take events, we could take that sort of concept a step further and have adults only or 18s over cinema nights, right? Where we can have alcohol in the cinema. Nothing rough or rowdy, but just joyous and nice, right? Thinking about how we can bring our community together differently, you know? There's not enough events, I believe, that bring us together, right? It's really just small sets of families that are self-motivating themselves to just, keep themselves together. But I don't really get this sense of, this big kind of invisible hand concept, let's just say, bringing the Taouks and the Bcharronis, together, keeping them sort of like nicely sort of guarded, like the seven crosses in Bcharre, right? Think about it conceptually like that, as these events that just are there, like, hey, come on, guys, we're all together, and we can keep an eye on each other that way, because we know, okay, there's gonna be, all right, we'll check up on him, at this gala dinner, or we'll check up on him, at this cinema night or whatever. We have events that we look forward to as a community. How awesome is that? And it doesn't have to be huge. It could be small, like watching the State of Origin at the Bcharre Association. Having Taco Tuesday at the Bcharre Association, whatever the heck that means. It's a building that we can use, for our own amusement, for gosh sakes, whatever you could think of. Oh gosh, painting and wine nights for ladies, right? How many Taouk women are there that would just love just the fun cringe of that, right? Um, yeah, you can host cringe movie nights. So bad it's good movies like The Room, for God's sakes, right? Get your plastic forks and spoons. Is that what they throw at the screens? Yeah, just a bit of fun. It's a building, for gosh sakes, right? It's free. I've got a projector. There's white walls in there. That's it. That's all you need, and you have a cinema because there's chairs in the building. And mind you, I'm pretty sure there's a rooftop terrace or something similar to that at the building, in the Bcharre Association building. Is that being fully utilized or utilized at all? I don't. Maybe I'm ignorant, naive. I don't know. Who am I? I'm just Ibn Majid. That's all. You know, just the gharib. That's what they say. Yeah, I don't care. I'm just a weirdo. Mind you, and this might be a bit embarrassing for you to hear, but you guys seem really weird to me. I'm sorry. Like, I don't get it. How the hell can you figure out, like, you've got a building, a multi-million dollar building that's called the Bcharre Association that's empty? You know, it's not fit for purpose. It doesn't make sense. We have a Taouk phone book, right? But no one visits each other or speaks to each other anymore. Like, what's the point of a phone book when no one wants to speak to each other? It's no. Is that? Am I being too dramatic? Obviously, um, but I really don't think I am. I really do get that sense that at one point it was an organization that meant something, and then it stopped being that way. And I think, oh gosh, if it was money, and again, I don't know, I'm just living Majid, but if it was money, that doesn't surprise me. If someone or a group of people understood that the Bcharre Association was far more valuable as a development site, which it obviously is, right? It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. And whoever profited off that, I mean, good on you. You're not smart. You took advantage of an easy hustle. Maybe. Again, I don't know. I'm just Ibn Majid, right? But if that's the case, that's okay. If someone became rich from the development at the Bcharre Association, that's awesome, right? Because their money's kind of like my money in a way. Yeah. Perhaps it sounds strange to say that. What I mean is, I, 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 I feel like I'm part of a community, and if someone succeeds, it feels like I succeed. That's how I feel. And for someone else to feel something else, differently, right? That's okay. But to me, that's weird, you know? But I don't know. I don't know. Maybe because there's money involved and I know how corrupting money is, that might have been the driving force that kind of carved out the insides of carved the heart out of the Bcharre Association or the Taouk Association. I really don't know, but uh, there's still a nice building there that's underutilized, right? We did something good, but we're not using it to its full potential. So I think it's worthwhile just thinking about the intersection of the Taouk Association and the Bcharre Association, and how we can utilize the Bcharre building more effectively to serve our community, and more events that we can organize that can increase community engagement and really just, man, bring us closer together. And, if there are some people that think that what I'm saying is a bit silly, Andrew, what's wrong with you? We got plenty of events. I do feel together. Yeah, awesome. I want more. Sorry, you know. And I want more of a sense of community because I had a mental breakdown in front of the community, and I got a sense that we could be doing a lot more to help each other. So thinking about the Bcharre Association and the Taouk Association, is a good place to start. And who am I, right? Just Ibn Majid. All right. Love you. Bye.